Well, hello there, Facebook. We're excited. It's Thursday afternoon, and we are excited to be here with you. Um, we are going to be going live on the radio here soon, and then the show will get kicked off, and we're going to have a good time with you today. So we're just going live a few minutes early to give Joanna a little time to get ready and get practice. You know, she gets nervous when she goes live on
Oh,
YouTube.
no, I don't. Not anymore, I should say.
um, yeah, so we're just going to be live with you today, and we're going to go. Let me see, we have 3.5 minutes before we go live on the radio. And as soon as we go live on the radio, it's going to be showtime, folks. And we want you to. We want you to come in with some comments today, though. We know there's a lot of people always watching, but you guys never comment. We want you to comment today. We want you to ask us questions. We want you to challenge our thought process. I want you to really ask Jana all the questions and challenge her thought process and all that type of stuff, right? And I'm just going to sit back and just watch and say, Joanna, handle it. So we have about a minute. Let me see. A minute before 2:00, and then once it hits 2:00, we'll have 2.5 minutes of commercials before we go live on the radio. And so we just want to come to you early, a little bit early today, get you ready for what we're going to be talking about. And today the topic is just awesome sauce, the bomb. The quickest way to leadership is problem solving. It's what we're going to be talking to you about today. And Joanna, are you excited?
I'm so excited with this topic. It's one of those, that they're hard to. Sometimes leaders don't even talk about that because, problems, nobody likes problems, Cedric. And so I think we all run away from problems, but, they introduce us to so many great things. And so today we're going to be giving a lot here in this show. And I'm super excited to share all of this with all of you.
Yes, and we're excited that you're here with us today, and we want your comments, we want your feedback, and we want you just to enjoy listening to us today. And but we also want you to interact. And if there's something that we say that you agree with, let us know that. You may want to share this with somebody else. If there's something that you disagree with, then you know what? Let us know that too. We want to know. We want to understand. Because see, guys, our goal is to do a great job every time we're on the radio for you, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for you, by you, and with you. We have about a minute and 15 seconds before we go live on the radio, IBGR. And we're excited. We know that Donna is out there listening. Bill is out there listening. And we hope that we have a lot more people that are out there listening as well. Another minute and 20 seconds, we'll be live on the radio. So Joanna.
Yes, Cedric.
Thursday. What do you like about Thursday so far?
Well, that's a great question. Thursday is one of my favorite days, actually. And simply because Thursday is like the preamble of Friday, right? So it's like that day getting closer and closer to the weekend. And so I love Thursdays, and it's been a good Thursday for me so far. So definitely happy.
That is awesome. Well, this is my Friday. So
I know that.
I don't do anything on Fridays, so I'm excited for Thursdays and Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Boom. 30 seconds, folks. We're going to go live on the radio. And when we get live on the radio, once the mic goes live, folks, it's on. It's showtime, right? So this is Talk Leadership with Cedrick and a Cuppa Jo on the radio, folks. And everybody needs a little TLC with high energy. So we're excited to be here with you. 10 seconds and we're going to be live on the radio. So give me a second here and I'm going to hit that live button. All right, folks. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to my world. Oh no, I'm sorry, John.
Our world.
Our world. You are listening to IBGR Network, known as International Business Growth Radio, folks. In other words, Profit Radio. So welcome to Talk Leadership with Cedrick and a Cuppa Jo on the radio. You know, everybody needs a little TLC and
some high energy as well.
all right, she's ready.
Okay.
I am Cedrick LaFleur, your co-host for today's show, and with me I have Miss
Joanna Rincon.
Joanna Rincon. I have to tell how to say it. You got to roll that tongue, folks, right?
Rincon, yes.
So what you can do, folks, is we're going to have a good time with you today. You know, we like to take it light and have a good time and entertain you a little bit. Today, we're going to be talking about the quickest way to gain leadership is problem solving, right? Now, what I want you to do is we make show notes for you so that you can download the show notes and follow along. You can use this in your business, folks. So what you do is head over to ibgr.network and you can download the show notes there, or better yet, all of you who have Apple products, go over to the App Store. All of you that have those Android products as well, we're going to convert you to Apple one of these days. But for the time being, go ahead and go over to the Play Store and do me a favor, type in IBGR and boom, it's going to pop up right there, folks. And you can download our app. And on the app, it's going to open you up to a whole new world. You know, you remember when you had AOL and it'd say, boom, you got mail? Well, that's what's going to happen when you open up IBGR app. It's going to say, boom, Talk Leadership with Cedrick and a Cuppa Jo is right here for you, okay? And that means you have mail. You can download the show notes there. You can listen to other shows that are there as well. And we want you to sit back today and enjoy. You know, I'm going to start off with this story. You know, I love the story of these neighborhood boys who built a tree house and they formed their own little club, right? And it was little boys only. And when the grown-ups were told who had been selected for the office of president to lead the group, they were astonished to hear that the 4-year-old had been elected to president. That boy was a born leader, one dad observed. Who says, well, how did that happen that all the bigger boys voted him to be president? Well, you see, Dad, is what one little boy said. He can't be the secretary because he doesn't know how to read or write. And he couldn't be the treasurer because he can't count. He would never do good for sergeant at arms because he was too little to throw anybody out. So if we didn't choose him for anything, he'd feel bad. So we made him president. The point is, real life, of course, doesn't work that way, right? You don't become an effective leader by default. You must be intentional and you must work on your strengths. But that was an awesome story, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
So today we're going to talk about the quickest way to gain leadership is problem solving. See, if life is hard for individuals, then why is it doubly hard for a leader? See, think about a day when you had a too hot to handle problem and it landed on your desk. What did you do about it? How did you handle it? And what could you do differently? Think about that. It was a too hot to handle problem, Joanna. You ever had one of those?
Oh, absolutely. Many of those.
Okay, all right. We're gonna have to get into those here in a little bit. Too hot to handle problem. So our focus as a leader should be to build big people. See, big people will handle big issues effectively.
That is right. I love that. And you know, here's the thing, Cedric. Problems introduce us to ourselves. You see, the best way to know me is actually seeing how I solve problems. And our decisions are often impacted by our proximity to the problem. And Cedric, I have an acrostic for the word problems that I want to share with real quick with our audience. And so this acrostic, so for the letter P, the first letter P is for predictors. You see, nothing predicts better who you are like a problem. The letter R stands for reminders. You see, the problems remind us that life is not easy and it's not supposed to be easy, right? It wasn't designed to be easy. And so when a problem arises, we're often reminded of that.
Right.
The letter O is for opportunities. You see, most opportunities are surrounded by a problem. The letter B is for blessings. See, problems cause us to rely on other people. And they also teach us that, we're not big enough by ourselves. And we all know the law of significance, right? One is
Right.
too small of a number to achieve greatness.
Right.
The letter L is for lessons. See, every problem has a lesson in it. The letter E is for everywhere. And, sometimes we think that we have more problems than anyone else. But the reality is that everybody has problems. They're everywhere. I have problems, you have problems. And so they're everywhere. The letter M is for messages, and the letter S is for solvable. I love that acrostic because it's a great way to just disconstruct that word problems and see a little bit deeper in it.
Yeah, you know what though, Jana? I don't have any problems. What I do is
You don't?
no, I hand my problems over to other people. I only accept the opportunities.
Well, that's good. That's the mindset we need to have. Absolutely. See, our problems as leaders, we will always be filled with problems. Our plates as leaders will always be filled with problems. You see, problems are what we deal with every single day. And so expecting anything other than that, it's really unrealistic. If you're a leader, you're going to have problems along the way, right? We know that there is not two consecutive good days in the life of a leader, right? And so that's our responsibility as leader. We just need to embrace the fact that we're there to solve problems, and sometimes the bigger problems too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So Angela Hooper Menenfield is listening. She says, we have acrostics, right? Of course we
Yes,
do,
we
Angela.
do.
We learned very well from doggone it. Robin K.
From Robin, yes. This one is not from Robin, yes, but it's a great acrostic.
So the third thing for problems introduce us to others. Joanna talked about the first two. The third one is pragmatism serves us well as leaders. See, how do you define pragmatism? See, pragmatism means thinking of or dealing with problems in a practical way rather than in theory or abstract principles. See, I'm a pragmatist. I like to deal with things just at the lowest level, right? Versus just ideal and theory and all this type of stuff. There's groups that like to deal in theory and abstract principles, but a pragmatist is a person that deals with problems in a practical way. And that's what we need leaders in organizations who deal with problems in a practical way and not just theory and fluff and high 30,000 foot level type stuff all the time. I like what Jim Collins says. He says, there's a sense of exhilaration that comes from facing head on the hard truths and saying, we will not give up. We will never capitulate. It might take a long time, but we will find a way to prevail. Now, I really love that, Joanna. I just think that is the way that the attitude, that the mindset that leaders should have, right?
Absolutely. Going back. Sorry, go ahead.
There are 4 common reasons why people do not perform the way they should. And I want to tell you about those 4 common reasons, right? Now, here are these 4 common reasons. 1, they do not know what they're supposed to do. You see, as a leader, you have to be practical and you have to tell the people what it is you want them to do. You got to share the vision with them, right? Help them see the way. The next thing is the reason why people don't know how to perform is they don't know how to do it, right? They don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. They don't know why they should do it. And there are obstacles beyond their control. You see, Joanna, On this show, Talk Leadership with Cedrick, before there was a Cuppa Jo on the radio, right? It was me telling myself what to do. Then when you came on board, I said, Joanna, this is the show. This is how we do it. This is why we do it. And then remove all the obstacles out of the way, right? Then we said, all right, so now you got it. Now you can come on and perform. And you see, folks, this is a true testament of leaders showing the way. Now, I'm bragging on myself a little bit, okay? I'll pat myself on the back, just in case I die tonight, at least I pat myself on the back once.
No, but I agree with that, Cedric. And what I wanted to share is, I never forget when I was in corporate, working at the hotel, there was a manager who told me once, Joanna, you need to be more pragmatic. And I actually had no idea what the word mean, and I had to go look it up, and it made a huge difference in me, because then I said to myself, maybe I make things too complicated, and so that's what this means. I need to make it simple and just look at things a little bit different. So that word resonates with me every time.
I tell you all the time, don't make it complicated. Just keep
you
it very
too,
simple.
Yes. I know, you tell me that all the time.
Keep it very simple. So, folks, we're going to be going on a commercial break here in just a little bit. But you're listening to Talk Leadership with Cedrick on the radio with a Cuppa Jo, and you're on the IBGR network. And folks, I want to tell you what, we do some wonderful things here, some wonderful talent that's here. So I need you to go and download that app at the App Store or the Play Store, and download it so you can hear all the wonderful talent that we have on this radio station. And I'm excited about some things that are about to happen on the station, and I need you to be tuned in. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Awesome.
So we are in commercial break, folks, and we're excited that you're tuned in today. And let me tell you what, folks, every time we turn on the airways, we are going to light it up. We are going to help entertain you. We hope that we want you to learn some stuff from it, okay? We want you to be clear on that. We want you to learn some stuff, but we also want you to have some fun. If you have a shout out that you want to send to someone, tell us and we're going to shout it out for you. Okay. If you want a happy birthday to someone, tell us and we're going to do a happy birthday for you. All right. We're going to keep it in the context of the show, but we also want to help keep you entertained as well. So, Angela Hooper Minifield is doing some great stuff out there. I know she's tuned in. So let's give a shout out to Angela Hooper Minifield. If you're on Facebook, go look her up and send her a friend request. Go to Minifield and Associates and, click on like and like her, her business page, right? There are a lot of people that's out there. When I see you, we're going to give you a shout out. If you want to give somebody a shout out, let us know and we're going to give them a shout out. Here, you're listening to Talk Leadership with Cedrick and a Cuppa Jo on the radio. So, Joanna, we were talking about how was your Thursday and why you love Thursday. So, what is it you're going to do on Friday to get ready for the weekend?
Well, I'm just going to work like I've been working all week, but I'm just going to work and make sure I have everything ready. So I don't have to do a lot of work on the weekend. Sometimes, I do have to stay on and do some work on Saturdays. Sundays, I really try not to, but yeah, I'm going to try to be free this weekend to enjoy it and to have a good, family weekend. What about you? What are you going to do on your 3-day weekend? Because I know you have 3 days.
Yes, I am going to tomorrow. I got to go to get my motorcycle registered, my registration done for my motorcycle, and I'm gonna do a couple things for some products that we're going to be launching, and then Saturday it's a wrap. It's going to be nothing. Sunday it's going to be 10-minute word in the morning. I'm going to chill out the rest of the day, and I heard they got a football game coming on in the afternoon. I might watch that. I'm not excited about that game this year, so I might watch it. I might not. Might just sleep through it. And that's pretty much it.
Why you're not excited about the game?
I don't care about either team.
Okay.
Just be honest with you. We're gonna be coming back from going back live here in like 5 seconds, folks. So hold on a second. All right, we are back. We're excited that you're here with us, and you're listening to IBGR, folks. And IBGR is our call sign as a radio station, but we are more than a radio station, folks. We are a network, and I'm telling you what, folks, this network is taking off. We're in over 150 countries, and let me tell you what. When you get in 150 countries and people can hear you around the world, you're making an impact. You're doing some major innovative things. Donna and Bill, who are running this ship, is really doing some good stuff to help make IBGR work and run. And we're just here today, Joanna and I are just here today to help entertain you, teach you a few things, help elevate your mind. And we hope you stay with us and stay tuned. So, Joanna, let's get back into what we're talking about. So we're talking about the quickest way to gain leadership is problem solving, and we were talking about here the subtitle is the quickest way to. We were on problems introduce us to ourselves. So you were on number 4. So talk about that.
Absolutely. So number 4 is believing there is always an answer is an asset. You see, and here are 2 questions for you. How agile is your mind when faced with a problem? I want you to think about that for a moment. The other question I have is, how has your approach to problem solving evolved? You see, sometimes we don't think about these things, but the most important problem solving skill that I have learned and practiced over the years when I was in corporate, it's mental agility. You see, when you have it, you become an effective leader. But to tap into that mental agility, you need to believe that you can solve problems. That's the mental mindset. That's what you need to think about yourself, that you can do it, that you can solve all those problems.
Yeah.
Cedrick, what's number 5?
Yes, our actions can make our problems increase in number and in size. Let me say that again. Our actions can make our problems increase in number and size. See, one of my problems was always tended to multiply when I did these things, when I lost my perspective of a problem, when I gave up on an important personal value, when I lost my sense of humor. This is why I like to just keep things light, folks, and you got to laugh a little bit. Some people are too tight. You know those people that they can get change from a penny. They're so tight, right? The other one is when my problems tended to multiply when I felt sorry for myself, right? So I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. We just going to work through things, right? The other one is when I blamed others for my problem. You know how you have those people, not you. I get you, not you, right? But those people that blame other people for the problem, right? And instead of putting it on themselves. And then the other one is when I wish for them to go away instead of working on them. You see, Joanna, your problems won't go away if you don't work on them.
That's right.
In fact, they're going to magnify it. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get worse, and people are just going to fester in that if you don't work on them, right? So don't try to sweep it under the rug and not do anything with it. You know how those things are. When you see a problem in your business, you have to address it. And you got to address it quick, fast, and in a hurry so that it doesn't blow up on you and cause more problems in the business. So think of a problem. I want you to do this for me. Think of a problem when your reaction to the problem made the problem worse. Now just think about that. Think of a problem when your reaction to the problem made the problem worse. You had those situations, right, Joanna?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Sometimes the reaction, sometimes instead of you solving the problem and looking at it in a pragmatic way, you just complicate it yourself. Like you made it worse yourself. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, the problem really wasn't a problem. You made it a problem when you thought you had a problem. But if you would have paid attention, you would have realized you were making a problem out of no problem at all. See, then you became the problem.
Oh, God.
You see what I'm saying? It happens, right? So for your leadership to remain effective, it is essential that you take other influencers within the group with you to a higher level. See, this is another example, Joanna. Now, I'm not patting myself on the back on this, but I'm just giving you an example, okay? Let me give you an example, Joanna. Okay, so you say it's essential that you take other influencers with you so that you guys can go to a whole nother level. See, when we started this show, it was just me, right? But I knew that this show would be better if we had another influencer in the show, right? And together now, boom, we go to another higher level together. See, we did the exact same thing in what's called the Black Entrepreneurs Institute, right? Where we're taking boot campers to another level. 4 founders came together and put our minds together. And what we're doing now is taking entrepreneurs to a higher level. You see how that happens? That's why that quote right there is so important. I'm going to say it again, just in case you just tuned in and you missed it. For your leadership to remain effective, it is essential that you take other influencers within your group with you to a higher level.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Love it. Number 6, Cedrick, is problems handled well often makes us better. You see, the promise, the problem promise is this: when you handle them well, problems promise to make you better. You see, what you face help you what you face helps you face yourself, and what you are able to carry defines you. And so here's a great question that I have for all of you. We have tons of questions today, by the way. So I hope you're writing these down so you can then go back and reflect on them and, and try to elevate your mindset with this topic around problems. So here's a question I have now for you. What have you learned about yourself through facing problems? What have you learned about yourself through facing problems?
That's a deep question.
It is.
So you gotta reflect on what is it you're learning. You have to reflect on what experiences have I gone through that made me grow.
Yes. That makes me think, Cedrick, we know that experience is not the best teacher, but it's evaluated experience, right? So this question right here, it's definitely helping you to get into that position to analyze and to evaluate some of your experiences from the past when you were dealing with problems.
Yes, absolutely. So the next section we're going to go to here, folks, in this, and we say that the quickest way to leadership is problem solving. So the next section we're going to dive into for you is problems introduce us to others. You see, the first thing that we told you was that problems introduce us to ourselves. Now we got to take it a little bit farther, right? So problems, now we're going to talk about problems introduce us to others. See, I'm not able to comment on somebody else's character. I've never seen him handle adversity. If I haven't seen someone handle adversity, then I can't comment on your character, right? Now, when I see you go through some adversity, then I'll be able to comment, because then I'll know how you handle that, right? One of the things I want you to think about, and Joanna's right, we have a lot of questions for you today. One of the question I want you to think about now is, how has another person's character surprised you when they had adversity? Think about that question. Right. So would problems introduce us to others? The first thing we want you to know is people who make problems worse. You got to think about that, right? Are they firelighters who blow things up? Are they firefighters who calm things down? You see, those are 2 different types of people, Joanna.
That's right.
Are you a firelighter? Were you blowing things up? You always pouring fuel on onto the fire? Are you a firefighter where you calm things down?
Yeah, I'm more like a firefighter.
Oh, I bet you pouring.
Yes, gas. I am.
I bet you pouring gas on it.
No, I don't like problems. I'm an S-type personality in the DISC assessment, so I am always trying to be the mediator and trying to solve, make sure there's no bigger problems. Come on, Cedric.
Okay, all right, I got you. I'm not mad at you. All right. So the next thing is what we want you to do, folks, is this. Yeah, how you can tell, right? Make a list of each group of people that's in your life. And then you're going to ask yourself, how can I lead those people? Now, I want you to think about that. You're going to make a list of each group of people in your life. And then you're going to ask yourself, how can I lead them? All right. The next question that you're going to ponder on is, how do people around me react to the sparks of my life? Ooh, that one there, right? Now you're going to get to see how people think about what people think about you. Right. I'm going to make that list for Joanna right now.
That's deep.
So, how do people around you react to the sparks of your life? So we're going to be going to commercial break here in 1 minute, folks. And you're listening to Talk Leadership with Cedrick and a Cuppa Jo on the radio. And everybody needs a little TLC.
And some high energy.
Okay, all right. And I am Cedrick LaFleur with my co-host, Miss
Joanna Rincon.
All right. And you are listening to IBGR Network, folks. And let me tell you what, at IBGR, we not only come on here with a radio show, we come on Facebook and YouTube Live, but we also have an app, folks, that you can download our podcast and you can listen to it. In fact, you can go to Amazon right now and type in Cedrick LaFleur, and guess what's going to happen is my podcasts are going to come up. Right. And you can pull those up. We're in over 150 countries, folks. We're making an impact, and we're trying to make an impact in your life as well. We're going to be coming right back from this commercial break, and we're going to finish talking about the quickest way to leadership is through problem solving. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back from this commercial break. So if you're listening to us on Facebook and YouTube Live, what we said earlier, folks, is we want you to send us a question. You may have a comment. Put that in the chat. We want you to send that to us. The other thing is, folks, if you have a shout out you want to give to somebody, it may be their birthday. It may be their anniversary. It may just be you just want to give them a shout out because you want them to know that you love them. So then just go ahead and put that in the comments, and Joanna's going to give them a shout out. Okay.
And I'm going to answer all the questions too. So send them to me. Send them my way.
Absolutely. You're going to answer all the questions. So, Joanna, we were talking earlier about what things we're going to do on the weekend. Right. And as you think about, how you end your week, do you normally like to end your week on a high note, on a medium note, on a low note? How do you normally like to end your week?
For me, that's the question for me?
That's the question.
Well, I like to end it in a high note, of course. I mean, sometimes even though I like to end it on a high note, the energy levels, by the time you get to Thursday, Friday, they're already dropping, right? But it's the mentality is to end it in a high note.
Okay.
Energy.
Okay. I don't mind ending mine on a low note or a medium note on a week going to the weekend. That means I just go into it smooth, relax, and cruising on in, right, to the weekend. And then that means that I can just like chill out for the weekend. So I'm good either way.
Yeah. I don't like to relax too much because then it's not fair for my kids, right? They're all pumped up for the weekend, and there's mommy all relaxed, wanting to just chill now.
So that's the difference between guys and ladies. Guys are like, I'm chilling.
I have to save some of that energy for them. Absolutely.
Guys are like, y'all can do what y'all want to, but I'm chilling.
Yeah, we got to do mommy stuff. We got to wash their hair. We got to do this and that. And
yeah. See, when they're 3, you got to start letting them wash their own hair.
And trust me, that's very curly, tangled hair. It's like a 2-hour journey. So
I hear you. See, this is why we do this.
yeah.
Oh my God. We're going to be coming back from the radio, from the commercial break here on the radio in like 12 seconds. So just hang on, folks, and we'll be back in teaching mode. We're hopefully you're enjoying the show today. We're trying to give you a little bit of entertainment here, but we're excited that you're here with us today. Give me a second. All right, folks, we are back and you're listening to IBGR Network, and IBGR is our call sign as a radio station. But folks, we are more than a radio station. We are a network. And today you're listening to Talk Leadership with Cedrick and a Cuppa Jo on the radio. And you know, everybody needs a little TLC
And some high energy.
All right. So we're excited that you're here with us today. And today, folks, we're talking about the quickest way to gain leadership is problem solving. And the section that we're going through right now is problems introduce us to others. At first, we talked about problems introduce us to ourselves. Now we're talking about problems introduces us to others. And I talked about with number one, just in case you're just tuning in, people who make problems worse. We talked about that a little bit. Joanna is going to kick in with number two. And what is that, Joanna?
Number two is people who become problem magnets. But before I dive into that, Cedrick, I just want to highlight something you mentioned on the previous one, and is that you don't really know a person until you watch them go through adversity. You know, I thought that was really powerful, and I just wanted to repeat that in case some of our audience is just tuning in. You don't really know a person until you watch them go through adversity. And so I love that, and I wanted to make sure you capture that as well. So number two is people who become problem magnets. You see, and here's another question. Do you look for problems or possibilities? See, that is a very important question you need to ask yourself. Do you look for problems or possibilities? You see, the law of magnetism from the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership says that who you are is who you attract. And so there are people that attract problems. And not only that, right? And you mentioned this earlier. They have the ability to make the problem even bigger, right? They either put some fire into that problem, they put some gas, and they make it, they make it bigger. And so the question for you here is, do you have a problem magnet in your life or business? That's a question that I want you to ponder as well on this section. Do you have any problem magnets in your life or business? Cedrick, what's number three?
Yeah. So, I don't have any problem magnets in my life or in my business. I try to eliminate those type of things, right? Because that's just, it's too time consuming to try to deal with those type of things, right? Number three is people who give up in the face of problems excuse me. People who give up in the face of problems. And the thing I want you to think about, the question I want you to ponder in is, do you have a Rolodex story? You know the Rolodex. Well, you guys are probably all too young for Rolodex. I know Joanna's way too young for a Rolodex. She doesn't even know what. You've heard the word Rolodex before, Joanna?
No, first time.
See, folks, she's too young to know what a Rolodex is. I bet Angela knows what a Rolodex is. I'm only joking, Angela. You're too young too.
You hear that, Angela?
Luckily, she's probably not listening right now, so she's not going to know about this. Don't you say anything, okay? It's between us. And so the fourth thing is people who use problems as stepping stones for success. Ooh. And you see this a lot, especially in like political races, right? People who use problems as stepping stones to success. Right. See, as a leader, you need to pay attention to how your people respond to problems, and you need to help them respond correctly if possible. Right. Hey, Laura, thanks for tuning in at the folks at Lake Charles Memorial Hospital. Thanks for always tuning in. We're excited that you're here with us today. But as leaders, you need to pay attention to how your people respond to problems, and you need to help them respond correctly. You see, we're going to have to ban Kevin from the show.
Yeah.
You see, he said he's telling. See,
I see that.
Facebook, can you please get him? We're gonna put him in Facebook jail. So here's a couple of questions I want you to ask yourself. Who on your team do you need to help respond correctly to problems? Who's that problem child on your team? Who's that one that you need to help them better respond to problems? You know, they fly off the handle. You know, those type people, you got to help them respond better to problems and situations, right? The other question is, what is the best part about sharing a problem with others? Now, once you understand that, let me pause for a second on that one. What's the best part of sharing your problems with other people? Now, once you ponder on that for a little bit, what's the worst part about sharing your problems with other people? Let me tell you one of the things, right? The best part of sharing your problems with other people is sometimes you get ideas, better ideas of how to handle things, right? I know some people like to cover up all their problems and act like they don't have any. All right. Well, the best part of sharing your problems, and I don't mean going out there and just blasting out all your business. That's not what we're talking about, right? But we're talking about problems in your business, or even maybe a personal problem that you can get help with, and you know that someone can help you with it, right? To overcome whatever that is, right? You want to share those things, right? You want to work with people that can help you overcome and help you go to a higher level, right? Then the worst part of this is the worst part about sharing your problem with someone else is if they don't get it, they don't understand it, and then all of a sudden they take what your words that you share with them in confidence, and they go out and share with a whole bunch of people. You see, I hear you, Laura. She said, "Come on with it, Cedrick. You know I'm bringing it today, right?"
He is on fire.
I like what she says, Lord have mercy, Team Memorial wants to know, can we give names? Yes, absolutely. You guys can give some names and we will give them a shout out, right? So just put the names in the comments and we'll give them a shout out, right? So Joanna, let's go now to problems introduce us to opportunities. Now, here's what I want the audience to understand what we've done. Right? You said problems introduces us to ourselves. Next is problems introduces us to others. Now we're going to say problems introduce us to opportunities. That's what remember I told you I get rid of all my problems, Joanna, and I like opportunities. This is my section right here.
Yes. And I know you've been looking forward to listening to this session here. And see, I love this one too, you know, and here's the thing, Cedrick, every great opportunity is surrounded by a problem. And so the question we have to ask ourselves in this is, am I going to be problem focused or opportunity focused? Right?
Ooh, wait, stop right there. I love that, right? You got to say that again, because that is something that people need to listen to, pay attention, and ask themselves.
Yes. And the question is, am I going to be problem focused or opportunity focused?
Yeah.
And here's the thing with that, Cedrick. They both come together. See, they're side by side to each other. Opportunities and problems, they're so close to each other that a lot of times we cannot see the opportunity in the problem. Mm-hmm. And so I like what Albert Einstein said. He said, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunities.
Yes.
In the middle of difficulty lies opportunities.
Yeah.
So you see, I think that's really important that we ponder on that question, because it's powerful. A lot of the times we're just so caught up in the problem itself that we fail to see the bigger opportunities that the problem will bring, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so recognize a potential problem before it becomes a real problem. That's the number one thing under the problems introduces to opportunities. Recognize a potential problem before it becomes a real problem. And so, what potential problems do, this is the question for this session, okay? So, if you have your pen and paper ready, just write it down. What potential problems do you see in your world, and what is your game plan to fix them when they happen? That right there, it's powerful. What potential problems do you see in your world, and what is your game plan to fix them when they happen?
Yeah, absolutely. And number two is you got to get a clear picture of the problem. See, Larry Maxwell, John's brother, said, John, hope isn't enough. Face reality and let your first loss become your last loss. I really like that, right? And we know hope is never a strategy, and hope cannot be enough. One of the things we want you to ponder on is, when have you failed to identify a problem ahead of time? I'm going to give you an example of when people do this. When they fail to plan. You see, when they fail to think through their strategy, what do they want to do? Right? That means they haven't thought through what are potential problems that are come up. Remember, we were talking about pragmatism earlier, and we said pragmatist likes to deal with things at a practical level and at the lowest level possible, right? See, an idealist will only look at what's going to work. They will never look at what problems they may face along the way. So then they fail to plan. So then when they run into a problem, they don't know how to handle it. And this is one of the things that we have to think through. We're going to be going to a break here in just a short thing, but I want you to understand, so we all have problems. Problems give meaning to life. People need to change their perspective, not their problems. See, many outstanding people have overcome problems in their lives, and you need to understand that you can too. Okay? A problem is something that I can do something about. You need to say that. We're going to be going to break here in just a second. You're listening to IBGR Network, and we'll be right back after this short commercial break. Thank you for tuning in to Talk Leadership with Cedrick and a Cuppa Jo on the radio. So, Joanna, this has been a really good show. We're going to be done here in just a little bit. And let me see here. I think Laura has given us some names to give a shout out to. So let's give a shout out to some of these people here. All right. So, hey, we're going to give a shout out to Diana over at Lake Charles Memorial. We're going to give a shout out to Jackie at Lake Charles Memorial. We're going to give a shout out to Dr. Gray and all the ER docs at Lake Charles Memorial. We want to give a shout out to all the ICU doctors at Lake Charles Memorial. Who else, Laura? Who else, Joanna?
We also have all COVID doctors. We have 50. They have 50 today, and they're watching. They're watching the show. So thank you so much for the support. So we're definitely going to keep you in our prayers. That is great. Awesome. Great support today, Cedrick. I really love today's show. Has been really, really good.
Yeah, awesome. And Laura, Oz and I grew up in Lake Charles, went to elementary school together, went to middle school together and high school. So we're excited that she's always tunes in. They tune in on Cut the Cord on Wednesdays at noon.
Yes.
And so we're excited that the folks at Lake Charles Memorial are supporters of the show, and we're excited about that. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. And
Kevin, thank you, Kevin, also for being there. I know Cedrick wanted to abandon you from the show, but we thank you for being here.
Yes, we're excited that Kevin is always here, and we definitely appreciate Kevin. He's my we live in the same, not the same subdivision, but right in the same area of Houston, really only the next town over. But we appreciate Kevin, and we're excited that you're here listening. We just got to make sure he doesn't tell Angela. right?
That's right.
So,
Yes.
yeah. So
Yeah, we had a great class last night that was led by Kevin. It was really, really powerful, and I
yes,
really enjoyed it.
absolutely, it was a great class.
Mhm.
In fact, you know what, Kevin, I'll tell you, this was just something. Our show has been planned since late December, but this is the topic that was listed today, and we were surprised when
Yeah.
I looked at the show notes and went, "Whoa, Kevin just talked about this last night." Trust me, it was not planned this way; it just happened to be at the same time. But it was a great lesson last night that Kevin led in the 100K Club. So if you're thinking about joining the 100K Club, you need to get in. And let me tell you what, it's an awesome journey. We'll change your life forever and change your business. All right, folks, we are back live on the radio. You're listening to IBGR Network. And let me tell you what, folks, IBGR is our call sign as a radio station, but we are more than a radio station, folks. We are a network. We're in over 150 countries, folks. Let me tell you something. Bill and Donna are doing some wonderful things to lead this organization, and Joanna and I are privileged and honored to be here, and excited that you're joining us today, and you're listening to Talk Leadership with Cedrick on the radio with a Cuppa Jo. You know, everybody needs a little TLC and
Some high energy.
absolutely. So, folks, we're talking to you about the quickest way to gain leadership is problem solving. Okay, we want you to understand that, and we started off saying that problems introduce us to ourselves. Then we moved to problems introduce us to others. Now we're talking about problems introduce us to opportunities. And Joanna had just talked about number one, recognizing a potential problem before it becomes a real problem. I shared with you, get a clear picture of the problem. And I want you to understand something. Never solve a problem for a person. Solve it with that person. Yeah, now let me say that again, Joanna, because I need you to understand it. I need you to hear it. Never solve a problem for a person. You solve it with a person.
I love that. That's really powerful. Awesome. Well, number 3 is ask questions to help you solve problems. And in this session, I'm going to share a series of questions that you should be pondering on, right? To have all these questions that you need to be asking to help you solve the problems. And so the first one is the information question. And that question looks like, who knows most about this problem? The experience question is, who knows what I need to know? The challenge question is, who wants to tackle this problem? The magnitude question is, who needs to buy in and how long will it take? The trust question is, have we earned enough trust to make needed changes? And the last question is the personal question. What questions do I need to ask myself? I absolutely love these questions. And so if you needed a set of questions to start this process of asking yourself and asking the people around you questions to help you solve problems, I think this is a great list of questions, and you just need to get a hold of them, write them down, because they're absolutely amazing. The information question, the experience question, the challenge question, the magnitude, the trust, and the personal question.
Yes, I like the personal question. What questions do I need to ask myself?
Right. Because sometimes, Cedrick, it's not the problem, it's you, right? It's not the other person, it's not your team. The problem, it's you. And so I also love that question.
Right. Well, we won't tell anybody, John, but just between you and I, it's never you, it's them.
Right. That's right. That's what we always think, right?
Yes. So number 4 is create a framework to examine problems and solutions, folks. And we want to help you bring this around and create this framework. So there are 6 critical steps or keys to creating a framework. One is leadership, right? How does this problem affect our people? The next one is personnel. Do we have the right people to help us with this problem? Next is timing. Is this the right time for a solution? And do we have enough time for it? See, the leader has to set the vision. So the vision is, how does this problem affect where we're trying to go? Woo-woo. That's a good one, right? The next one is priorities. Are my problems taking me and my team away from our priorities? And then the last one is values. Are my values, are my teams being compromised by this problem?
Wow, I love those.
Yes.
See, we're giving you a lot of questions today, so I really hope you're writing them down and really taking advantage of all this information here. Well, number 5, Cedric, is value shared problem solving. Number 6 is always comes up with more than one solution. Always come up with more than one solution. And so the question here is, do you have a yesterday's or today's approach? And so the thing with that question is, sometimes we cannot solve a problem with the same mentality that we started that problem. You see, you have to have a different perspective when you go into a problem in order for you to solve it effectively. You cannot have the same mentality and the same perspective that you had when the problem began, right? Number 7 is cultivate a bias for action. See, don't think I can. Don't think can I. Instead, think how can I? And then start moving and taking action. A lot of people just, from the beginning, they just say, oh, that's too hard for me. I can't do this. No, you can. If you have in your head that you can do it, you can do it. And then just start taking action. Number 8 is actively look for opportunities and lessons in every problem. Actively look for opportunities and lessons for every problem.
Yeah, I love that number 7, though, Joanna. Don't think, can I? Think, how can I?
Right.
Right? Don't think, can I? Think, how can I? And then start moving forward, folks. Action is the key word here. See, although problems may be gifts, they still implement, you should still implement procedures and policies to prevent them, right? See, here's an example. Encourage your staff to think the best that they can, right? Encourage your staff to think the best that they can, especially during disputes. They want to think the best of the other person. See, not think the worst of the other person. You want to think that the person has the best interest of the organization in mind. You want to start there. It's sort of like, what John says, put a 10 on everybody's head. Mm-hmm. You see, and then you let them work that 10 down versus saying, well, I'm going to give everybody 1. You got to work your way up to a 10. You see, because it's hard to go from a 1 to a 10. But if you you give everybody a 10, you're going to think the best for them first. And then they got to work their way down, folks. You see, you got to bring others into the process by asking them to solve problems with you. Remember, I said don't solve a problem for someone. You solve a problem with them. Same thing here. Bring others into your process by asking them to solve problems with you. Otherwise, you'll end up having to solve all your organization problems by yourself. And we know what the law of significance says, right, Joanna?
Yes, 1 is too small of a number to achieve greatness.
Yes, 1 is too small a number to achieve greatness. We can't do it by ourselves. I don't care how good I am. I can't do it by myself. Well, maybe. Joanna.
No, you can't.
You didn't have to agree so quickly or disagree so quickly, rather. So, Joanna, no matter how good you are, you're not that good, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, we're going to be ending the show here in a couple of minutes, but I want to share with you some applications on how to, it's like a problem solving guidelines. All right. 1, you got to organize the problems in order of priority and then deal with them 1 at a time. So organize them in order of priority and deal with them one at a time. Learn all you can about a situation by listing out all the possible causes of the problem, right? Before you just jump in. Then examine the problem within the context of the current trends and the organizational goals. Then you're going to define the issue. Use just one sentence if possible. Don't make it a whole paragraph, right? Because that's where you're making it way too complicated, right? The next thing is you're going to do, discuss the problem with trustworthy, creative colleagues. Now, I'm going to say that part again, right? Discuss the problem with trustworthy, creative colleagues. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to look beyond your assumptions, right? Come up with as many possible solutions as you can, right? And then list out possible solutions, starting with those you think are most likely to succeed. You see, you want to get your team some quick wins, right? Because once you get a quick win, what's going to happen is you're going to want another, and you're going to want another, and you're going to want another. It's sort of like the lion and the gazelle, Joanna. When the lion kills the gazelle, you know what? He knows he's going to eat, and his family's going to eat. And guess what? He's going to want another one, and he's going to want another one, and he's going to want another. When you go to a higher level, when you win an award, what do you want? You want to win another one, and another one, and another. It's the same thing with your team. List out solutions, starting with those that you think will most likely succeed first. Then ask others to find operational weaknesses in your solutions. But ignore mere opinion. You see, you want to find out operational weaknesses in your solution, but you don't want just opinion, right? You want people to prove it to you. You understand what I'm saying, right? The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to evaluate your resources and then make some decisions. Evaluate your resources and make some decisions. Evaluate your resources and make some decisions. Joanna, what are they going to do?
Evaluate your resources
and make
some decisions.
Listening to me. How are the audience going to listen to me? Listening to me. Man, see what I froze.
Yeah, it was just frozen.
Oh, you were frozen. The screen was frozen. Okay, all right. Yeah. So Facebook now. All right. Okay, all right. I got you. So, folks, you have been listening to IBGR Network. We're going to see you next week. Talk Leadership with Cedrick and Cuppa Jo on the radio. Thank you. Goodbye, and have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Awesome sauce, Joanna. This was a great show.
It sure was.
I definitely enjoyed it. Hopefully, folks who are listening in on Facebook and YouTube, hopefully you enjoyed the show as well. If you did, share it. Share the link with someone else. If you did, give us a comment. If you did, come back next Thursday, every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Talk Leadership with Cedrick and Cuppa Jo on the radio will be right here. Joanna, what are you going to tell the audience before we go?
I just want to do a final thought about what we were just talking about. I just want to say this, Cedrick. When a problem arises, I want people to do this. I want them to embrace the problem and search for the answer. Because you see, the opportunity to that problem, it's always within the answer. And so don't run away from the problem, run towards it and look for the opportunity.
Look at you. Whoa, look at Joe over there being all prophetic and stuff. Go ahead and say that again. I like
it. Embrace the problem and search for the answer, because the opportunity is always in the answer of the problem.
Look at that. Look at that. Go ahead now. Cuppa Jo got it going on over there. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Kendrick. Thanks, Denise. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Angela. Let me see. I'm missing someone. Donita, Verone, Corber, Mark, Alexis. I think you might know Alexis. Thank you guys for.
Yeah, I think I know him.
Yeah, Morris, Andrews, Big King, Mo King. Let me see. How is it? Morris is his name, but he is Mo Big King. Thanks for tuning in to the show. We're excited that you guys are here with us today. Hey, thanks, guys, and you have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. Bye bye. Okay, hold on. Let me end the show now.